That's how Felix and I travel America, in a cattle car.
That's it.
Just a reminder, our number here is 516-665-1860.
And once again, we're just going to continue on now. If he calls, it's fine. If he doesn't, maybe he's got a problem or something. We'll take other callers, obviously, and from anybody.
By all means. Let me publicly apologize right now to my friend in San Diego. He had called last week, and unfortunately his call was cut off from our broadcast. I do apologize greatly. I hope that at some point in the future you can find time to give us another call. I know you're a very busy man. This man runs 2 or 3 different baseball leagues in San Diego area, and this is a little bit of a hiatus for them before they start their new season. So I do thank him very much for calling in.
What was his name? Leroy James?
That's what he called me. Leroy. Well, yeah, he said he was Leroy James. Exactly. You remembered. Leroy James, yes.
A nice Jewish boy from Brooklyn.
That's right. He actually was from Brooklyn. So was Leroy James, come to think of it.
Yeah.
Give a shout out to my friend George, who is beginning some treatments for prostate cancer. Wish him all the best. And keep our fingers crossed. It's something that as we age, these are things that we have to face. Just reminds us of our own mortality. And it's tough to think about because we all think, even old people like us, Felix, we just think that we're going to go on and live forever.
Aren't we?
Well, I don't know. Just don't tell my wife that. She's, most wives are counting the insurance money here, aren't they?
Thank God I don't have any.
Aren't you lucky? I'm literally worth more dead than alive.
Whoa. And who's the beneficiary?
Who do you think?
Your wife, I assume.
No, of course.
I think we're going to have to go change that. But let's go back to stop and frisk as long as Don is not calling us.
All right. Go ahead, Felix.
As you probably know, stop and frisk, or if you don't know, stop and frisk is very controversial these days in New York. Our new mayor in New York City, mayor-elect in New York City, is supposedly opposed to it, as our previous mayors have been for it. Now, something happened in the last couple of weeks, first time in like 30, 40 years or more. There were 2 days in a row where there were no murders or stabbings in New York City. And I think that's the first time since sometime in the 50s that has happened. New York is probably one of the safest, if not the safest,
major city
in the world, in the country. I won't say the world, in the country. And
part of that really is because of the stop and frisk policy.
And the gentleman that's in charge of the police department, Mr. Kelly, he's a good police commissioner, and I hope they keep him on.
He won't be. It's already been said. De Blasio wants to stop and frisk, and he feels that Kelly is part of the problem, and Kelly probably will be going.
Well, as I said, I can still hope, can't I?
Well, one can only think and talk from a certain perspective. I'm not black. I don't know what it's like. I'm not Latino. All right. But Commissioner Kelly and the mayor have all said that the problem is that in certain neighborhoods there is a rise in crime, and therefore the people who are stopped, primarily of African American and Hispanic descent, they claim that the police first have to have a reason for stopping you, obviously. They can't just stop everybody on the street, okay? I don't believe this has happened. I know that my son, who is a police officer, and he pounds a beat from 8 o'clock at night to 4 o'clock in the morning in the Bushwick section of Brooklyn, the 83rd precinct, said that if stop and frisk, if the police are told to... Yup, we do have a call.
Okay, let me take this call.
Have to put that in abeyance for later.
Good evening and welcome to Trucking to Heaven. Who am I speaking to? Hello.
Hello, Felix?
Hey, is that this Dr. Don?
Yeah, this is Don. I tuned in a few moments ago, and I got the drift of what you were saying, but I don't have any sense of what happened to you or to Mark or to both of you. So let me ask, what's going on?
Well, we heard that you wanted to talk a little bit about Kennedy today, and so we decided to we slotted you in to discuss Kennedy a little bit. We were just talking about Veterans Day and a little bit about stop and frisk.
Uh-huh.
But we'll go off and let's go into let's talk about JFK. We're going to have this discussion today a little bit, and then we'd like to have another one when it gets closer to the anniversary.
The anniversary, which is what, the 22nd, isn't it?
22nd,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, what was their objection about talking about it tonight?
No.
There is no objection.
We'd like to hear you.
We sort of left it open. We had mentioned today being Veterans Day. We discussed Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Wanted to say a few things about stop and frisk because now that the election is over, Mayor-elect de Blasio has said that one of the things he wants to do is do away with the stop and frisk policy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and we also mentioned that you had some things you wanted to talk about regarding Kennedy's assassination.
Yeah.
So we wanted to give, remember, we keep saying this is a show, this is the listener's show, a show
Right.
about nothing. If you have something you want to talk about, we are more than willing to let you speak and say whatever you like.
Well,
Okay.
obviously, I guess from what you're saying is you have your own conspiracy theories about the Kennedy assassination. Is that it?
Yeah, well, hey, I came out of graduate school back in '63 when he was killed, and I had my first job. I asked you, I think when we signed off last time, where were you? I mean, everybody knows where they were when they heard that he was assassinated. I mean, he was a charismatic figure for me. I mean, if it weren't for Kennedy, President Kennedy, he had the effect on me of uplifting, of wanting to achieve, of wanting to go forward, with a great deal of excitement about my future. That's the kind of impact he had on me. I wanted to go all the way. I mean, I had just gotten my master's degree in rehabilitation counseling, and I was working in the first new job in New Jersey when I came back home to New Jersey, and I was excited. And he had an enormous impact on me. So the first day I went on the job, my new job, that's when he got killed. And so I think one thought I have is, before I get into why I think what happened to him happened, the impact on me was so enormous, and I assume it was on many, many people, because he was so effective in moving people in a positive way, as opposed to what's happening today. That's my first point. I wish we had a president, and I wish we had an administration. You want to call it Camelot, you can call it whatever you want. I was deeply moved and had a sense of wanting to be the best person, to develop myself to be the best person that I could be, not only as an individual but as a professional.
Don, if I may, Don, he was a president in his inauguration speech who told Americans they could go to the moon.
Yeah, exactly. And we did.
That was totally unheard of back then.
Yeah, we did. So he moved many of us in that regard. So my first point is that things are so different today, of course. I was just wondering how. First place, I guess I have more of a question. You guys, because I respect you, I assume you're old enough to remember this. Did he have that kind of impact on you?
I was a little bit younger at the time, obviously, so was Mark. But yeah, the whole era had an impact on us.
I remember sitting up, watching the election returns, and then going to school the next day. And we were running to the bus to catch the bus to go to school. I was in junior high school, and I said to my friends, I said, I can't believe it. He won. We were all so thrilled and so happy. A young president, because before then, the only president I remembered was Eisenhower, who was an old man with ailing health.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And he was a young president bringing young children into the White House. It was terrific. And then to listen to him speak, in one respect I will say, yes, he moved me, but I also have to say that when I listened to Obama's first inauguration speech, okay, of course it was the speech of hope and change, and unfortunately we have seen how far that has gone.
Yeah.
He had many hopes and many dreams for a future for us, but it seems like Congress does not want to work with him.
Right.
Okay? And that's not his fault. Okay? Because many of the things that he proposes were proposed by Republicans originally, and they still say no.
Well, his Obamacare program is based on Mitt Romney's program for
right, in
healthcare,
Massachusetts,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, Massachusetts, right.
So,
but you know something, Mark. I agree with you, but the only point that I might disagree with you is that one of the criticisms of Obama is the fact that he tends to be more introverted and more intellectual and professorial. Has been the rap he's been getting, and it's probably partly true. I mean, you think of people like Reagan. President Reagan, I mean, they reached out across the aisle. He's not reaching out. He's not the type of guy to go out and have a couple of drinks, after work and to develop a relationship. Maybe it would have been impossible with the kind of Republicans that we have in Congress, but I'm not sure he tried hard enough.
Well, even the Republicans themselves say he doesn't even try to reach out to his fellow Democratic supporters in many cases.
True.
He's very aloof.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that is his professorial approach. Professors don't like. I mean, you were a professor. Professors don't like to get too close to their students.
Yeah.
Okay. There has to be that line separating.
Mm-hmm.
But, why did people vote for George Bush? Because he was the kind of guy you could go into a bar with and have a beer.
Exactly.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
That's what they said. But, the reason I want to bring Kennedy, the assassination up, obviously, it's going to be the 50th anniversary, and it brings back a lot of nostalgic thoughts and memories because I was obviously 50 years younger. And I want to just mention the fact that, he had an enormous impact on me and my life and my career and the desire to really improve myself and to move forward. It was a very positive time, and of course the assassination, had an enormous effect in a deleterious way. So, but the other thing, we had talked about gun control last week. When the last time we
right on Friday.
On Friday, and here's another issue of how did this guy Oswald get a hold of an Italian Carcano bolt-action rifle? The catalog. He wrote away for it, from what I understand.
Yeah, mail order. That's exactly what we were told.
Yeah, terrific. Is it that easy these days? You know what? I think it is. In fact, I saw in the paper on Sunday, yesterday, on writing away the catalog and be able to get a rifle. Just right in. Now, I don't know if there's any screening or any of that going on, but that's number one. It was so easy at that point to be able to just get a rifle. And let's get to the point of, did he do the shooting? Yeah, he did the shooting. There was an article in New York Times Magazine yesterday. This author, I got it in front of me here, Paul Gregory. I don't know if you guys saw it. It says, I was this close to the killer. He knew Oswald. Him and his father knew Oswald, helped him when he came back from Russia with Marina. his
Mhm.
wife, help him get